In the previous versions of Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Seox and Nier have largely dominated the talks of who the strongest characters in the game are. Nier firmly being held at #1 spot. Seox touted as #2, arguably #3, as a lot more people have been arguing that Siegfried is actually the second best character in the game as time has sort of gone on. We've been seeing how that character has been performing more and more in tournament. For now, we're going to be focusing on Seox and Nier, as those two characters have gotten some pretty significant nerfs in patch 1.30. Siegfried remains largely untouched, with a very minor nerf to his unblockable attack, arguably dealing with a setup that you were just going to knowledge check anyway with a spot dodge, but that's besides the point. Starting with Seox first, I'm going to make sure that Nier is going to behave with us very quickly. So, Seox, he does have... That's actually funny. Seox does have an extension on the crouching, or on the lower reach of his 5L hitbox. So this is the previous version of the game where we see, like, maybe right about here, it is whiffing sometimes against the crouching Nier. And we'll switch between versions of the game to demonstrate the changes in just a moment. This is the old version of the game on my PlayStation 4. I do have my PlayStation 5 patched with the new version, so we can directly compare what's going on here. Gates of the Demon, when connected from the ground, it now launches the opponent on hit. So before, you could do a combo like this, do Gates of the Demon, and then extend, which is really strong because you were able to get these long grounded combo sequences using Gate of Demons. And because of that, Seox had a lot of high damage if he got the right pickup with this. He's able to extend, keep it on the ground, because the combo limit only kicks in once your opponent, or once the dummy, if you will, is launched into the air. Now it launches on hit. So this is the new version of the game here, as I'm about to demonstrate. Seox can run up. And he does this, and now it launches on hit. So this greatly reduces this move's combo abilities. If you get a hit with it raw, your reward is less significant. If they get hit raw by it, they get popped up. And this isn't really quite like a fireball like Siegfried's, right, or Catalina's, or Belial's, where they really are great at controlling neutral. This is more of a pressure tool. This is more of a combo tool, and now it's lost that combo tool extension of it. So it's weaker for those extensions. It starts to scale its combos earlier, so he does suffer some damage here. Additionally, if he does get hit, the projectile now disappears. I'm not really able to have engineered a sequence to demonstrate this change, but this does mean that if it comes out, you're able to catch him with a DP. The fireball isn't going to catch you out of that DP, right, or make you block, or with those things. Once you hit him, the projectile is gone, and it's now completely your turn. Additionally, and both on the aerial version and the grounded version, there is increased recovery time on whiff. So if I make Nier spot dodge, and hopefully this dummy actually behaves here. We're going to make her block, and we're going to make her dodge. Yeah, it's evade. She is going to block, right? So here we see that when she cleanly dodges it in the new version, she is +9. This is a guaranteed punish, and this is for both versions of the heavy version of Gate of Demons, whether it's on the ground or in the air. Compare this to the previous version. Where I switch back, we're going to make Nier block. We're going to make her spot dodge. She spot dodges, and she is +3, but she's only +3. Fastest normal in the game is like 4 or 5 frames. So it was safe for Seox to do this, and even if you had like the right reaction, now you're playing a bit of RPS because Seox does have a counter. He could go for a throw tech as well. So there was a lot of RPS that still happened here, even if you were able to react to this skill. Now, in the current version of the game, if you spot dodge this, you get a punish, and so Seox is disincentivized from going towards this option more and more. He's going to have to save this for other situations, I think, or at least use it less often. So that is a fairly substantial nerf to Seox overall. But now let's get into probably the most nerfed character of this entire patch, which is Nier. starting things off, I'm going to take control of her. Her dash light has a reduced distance travel. We can see that she kind of lurches forward here in the old version of the game. She also has an extended hitbox downward on her long-range light. So if we switch versions... I'm also going to try to demonstrate and see if we can... We're going to make sure that she stops dodging real quick. Seems like you can get a little more consistent hits from a little farther away with Seox's 5L. Nier might be about the same, but who knows. But her 6XL does not advance nearly as far. It definitely does feel like it comes to a stop a bit sooner. And of course, she is greatly affected by the 6.6L nerfs. But again, you can still walk forward, throw. You can probably walk forward to a frame trap still. But there is that distance where more reliably a dash or a light, crouching light is going to catch something there. Those are some small changes. Now, the biggest change, though, there's two changes. First, we're going to look at Ominous Turns Ultimate versions change, where I'm going to make Nier do a recording real quick. Excuse me. It is back special. There it is. There we go. I had to remember my inputs. I'm switching between two different controllers doing this, right? So she's going to do this recording first. However, for dramatic effect, I will make us sit as we change in between versions of the game. So we're going to make Nier. She should have this. I think she has this. Oh, we got rid of the recording. It's fine. Right, so before she could do Ultimate Ominous Turn, and it would have this hitbox where even if you like spot dodged it, it could catch you out of it. So spot dodging it really didn't seem like a good idea to do against it because of that back hitbox that it had. But if we switch over to the new version of the game, I can spot dodge this move pretty cleanly, and it's not going to catch me out of recovery. So now there's a bit of counterplay to this move, which I think is vastly important. This is one of her quickest ways of just ending neutral, starting her pressure off and whatnot. But if you're able to spot dodge it, the Ominous Turn itself isn't going to catch you. So that's a pretty significant nerf, I would say. I'm curious whether or not if she's still able to buffer. Actually, I'm just going to record that real quick, right? So we're going to make her jump. This. No, it seems like she's locked into it, so yeah. Even on block, she can't really cancel out of this attack, so this isn't just a very quick, oh, I won neutral, and now I get to hit, I get to start my offense for her, right? So that's a big change. The biggest nerfs, though, to Nier are to Misfortune, where, so the Ultimate version, well, except the Ultimate version, they've done some things where, like, it no longer connects against crossovers, which no one's really doing that too often to her, so very insignificant change except for some situations. Misfortune, of course, Misfortune is her DP. This is her counter move, where this has been the bane of everyone's existence. This is made on top of her overwhelming offense, her in crazy neutral using the Death Doll. She had some of the best defense in the game because she was able to sit behind her counter guard point DP and then combo from this. But now she is no longer able to buffer spells from this, meaning that if you do successfully bait this out and block it, even if you just block it, right? So we're going to make Seox block this. You know, when we see here, she's going to run up to us, I think. She's, like, very negative here. So even if you block it, there's no worries for you about getting frame trapped or having to worry about a follow-up. Like, this was always a punish before, but if you weren't on your toes, this could sometimes happen. But now she can no longer do that from any versions of her Misfortune. Right? If I come out here with the heavy version, She's very much just locked out of these cancels, which brings her defense down quite a lot. You know, she's negative like 23. You can literally just punish her with like anything. Get your best starter and make her pay for this now. To compensate for this change, to not letting her cancel out of this, the heavy version is faster again. It is now frame 12 startup. So I think they kind of reneged on one change where they slowed that down, trying to get more counterplay to it because they want this to be successful as a DP. But in return, on reward and on block, you do, as the opponent who blocks this or baits this out, you do more consistently get a reward for doing so. If we look at the previous version of the game, I had to get used to this real quick. So we can see here that the frames, you know, starts up in 18 frames, so it was slower before. But, you know, again, you could do this, immediately cancel, so you had, like, frame traps happening. You had full combos happening as well, because if you got hit by this and you got hit by this reversal, I'm getting used to my lever list still. Let me do this. Okay, so then it's... You know, you got full comboed for quite a bit of damage. You could go into her set play from this if she spent enough stocks, use the right skills. So this was very toxic for her. But now if she lands this attack on you, her only reward... Her reward is just hitting you with the DP and ending your offense. I'm hitting the wrong version. There we go. Right, like 1,500 damage. Like, that's all that she gets off of this, and, you know, she will probably still be able to start pressing offense and Oki against you as well off of a successful hit. But on block, you should be pretty much able to consistently punish her for this. Because sometimes you would look for that option. You have to take a second to react to it, right? And if you got hit, well, she just got a full combo and conversion. And now she doesn't get that built in. She instead just gets to take her turn on offense. So... she still is a very high mix-up character, still has plenty of damage and great neutral. So I think Nier's going to be fine, but her defense is a little weaker for it, and I think that will make her less frustrating to play against. So we'll see where she falls on the tier list. I still think that, much like most people, they're going to look at her and say that she's still like top 5, right? But I don't think she's head and shoulders the best character in the game, especially because now her defense isn't as oppressive as her offense. Seox, a little bit of a slap on the wrist. Well, slap on the wrist is a very light way of putting it. It's a pretty substantial nerf to that character. He has, you know, you could punish him for going for one of his best pressure reset tools if you're quick enough with your reactions. It's not as obnoxious, and his reward off of it as well isn't as great. So now it's really good as a pressure reset tool. It's lost some other value there and has some more definitive counterplay to it. He's still going to have some of his other options. His Rekka series is still untouched as well, for example. So we'll see where Seox falls. Still a strong character. Both of these are still strong characters, but hopefully they're a little less frustrating for players to fight against.